Class, let's get into the nitty gritty of method parameters and arguments. Think of a method as a function that needs some specific information to perform its task. This information is provided by parameters and arguments. Here's a breakdown. Parameters are like placeholders or variables defined in the method signature. They define the type and the number of inputs that a method can accept. Imagine you have a cookie cutter. That's an example of the method, and some dough. That those are parameters. The cookie cutter shapes the dough into cookies. That's the functionality of the method. Now, arguments are the actual values that are passed to the parameters when calling the method. They provide the specific information that the method needs to execute. When you cut out cookies, for example, from the dough you use is the argument. It is fitting the shape of the cookie cutter, which is the parameter. Let's take a look at a method with a single parameter. This method takes one parameter, fname, which is a string. Inside the method, we concatenate fname with the last name, refsness. So we concatenate the fname with refsness. When we call my method Liam, Liam is the argument and it replaces the fname parameter inside the method. The output is Liam refsness. The same process happens for Jenny and Anja. Now, this example, uh, this method has only one parameter. Now, we can also have multiple parameters. Java allows methods to accept multiple parameters. This is useful when you need to pass more than one piece of information. So in this example, we have my method and it has the it takes two parameters, fname, which is a string, and age, which is an integer. Inside this method, we print out a sentence combining fname and age. So you can see here we print the value of fname plus is and the value of age. We simply combine in a sentence. We print out the sentence combining the fname and the age. When we call my method Liam with 5, these two arguments will be passed to the parameters fname and age. So Liam and 5 are the arguments, and it will replace fname and age inside the method, and it will result in the output of Liam is 5. The same process happens for Jenny and Anja. When dealing with multiple parameters, keep these rules in mind. Number one, the number of arguments must match the number of parameters. For example, in our method here, the method that we defined, my method, involves two parameters. So that means this method also has to accept two arguments. So in this example, in the method call, there are two arguments. So that means the number of arguments must match the number of parameters. And the order of the arguments is also must match the order of the parameters. In this example, the first name must come first, and then the second parameter or argument should be the integer value. The types of the arguments must also match the types of the parameters. So the first parameter is a string and the second parameter is integer. Then that will also be applied to your arguments. In the argument, the first argument should be a string, the same as the type of the first parameter, and the second argument should be integer because the second parameter rather, is an integer. Now let's move to a method with if else. Let's add some decision making to our methods using if else statements. This allows our method to behave differently based on the input. So this method, check age. This method takes one parameter, which is the age, and age is an integer. Inside the method, we use an if else statement to check if age is less than 18. If true, it prints access denied, you are not old enough. Otherwise, it prints access granted, you are old enough. When we call check age 20, 20 is the argument, replacing the age parameter. And since 20 is not less than 18, the output is access granted. You are old enough. To wrap up, we've learned that parameters are variables in the method signature. The arguments are the actual values passed to these variables when calling the method. You can have multiple parameters and you must match them with the correct number and order of arguments. You can also use control statements like if else or other control flow statements like loops within your methods to add decision making logic. Understanding how to use parameters and arguments effectively makes your methods more flexible and powerful. Keep experimenting and practicing, and you'll become a Java Pro in no time.